Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope all of you are having an awesome and blessed day. Today, I'll be working on a show car again. I'm gonna be working on the original flares. So I'm gonna be pulling them out a little bit. As you may see, if I close you in, it's been touching and scratching all the wheels, so it's hitting every time it bounces. So I'll be working on that and taking you along for the ride. Stay tuned. Before starting, just make sure everything is really clean inside. You don't got any dirt or debris inside, because once you roll that lip, it's gonna stay stuck in there, and with time it'll go ahead and corrode your fender. Also, make sure you remove any uh, liner you have inside and the screws holding it in place, because they will get in the way. So if you look at it from the top, you'll see it's poking out a little bit from the fender. And as you may see, the tire's being chewed up by the fender every time it hits it. So I bought this off of eBay. I've seen a lot of different reviews. Some say it has too much play on it. Some people say it's not worth it because the welds break off. So far, I used it on the other side and it worked pretty well. The only thing that I did find out was that when I'm making adjustments on this lever, this screw tends to unscrew itself and pops out. So every time you make an adjustment, just make sure it's still adjusted and still in place. And once it's there, it does its job. I'm gonna show you how I put it in. Something like this. You may see, I'm gonna use the same nuts that the wheel had. Even though they're pretty corroded, they're gonna still do their job. The rim will need to be repaired. As you may have seen, it has some issues. So I do put all of them because you will be making pressure, and you want to make pressure in equal amounts of force all around, so it doesn't tend to bend or do wacky things. So as I said, this was off of eBay. It also brought me the heat gun, which I will be using. And the reason for the heat gun, some people say they don't need it, that it's gonna work fine without the heat gun. And they're kind of right. I'm not gonna say they're wrong. But the heat gun is basically for two reasons. One, you will be heating up the fender just for paint, so the paint won't crack. And two, metal does tend to flex a little bit easier when it's heated up. But now that has to be up to a certain degrees, and I'm not sure if we're able to do it, just because if we heat this too much, it'll boil the paint and it'll damage it. So this, I do recommend doing this if you know you're gonna do some body work on the car, maybe paint it or something. Do it beforehand, so then if you have any issues or paint cracking, you could address it during that time. So this is it. You do the adjustments here. Obviously, like I said, I can't do this all in one pass. Previously, this was already, I had already bent down the lip on it just to make it fit to the wheel, but it was enough, so I gotta pull it a little bit. So before pulling, let's heat it up a little bit. So we're gonna heat it up. I do have it on high. I don't have it too close to it because I don't wanna overheat it, and I'm making quick movements. I'm not letting it sit on a single space for too long. So this is basically the process. You're gonna repeat this a lot of times until you take it to where you want it to be. So before moving forward, I will be taking measurements from the inner wall so I could know my reference I got 2 or 3 different measurements I could take from in here. And I'm right about 12.5 inches. So I want to push it out to 13 because I don't want to do it way too far, because with only half of an inch will be enough. So again, this is heat and repeat. Make your adjustments here for the wheel incline and the pressure here. So let's go ahead and start. I'm gonna start from the back forward. Oh, and remember to have this loose, so if it's a forward, you got traction on the forward end of the car, take the e-brake out. Okay, now that we measured, we know we got the 13 inches, same as the other side. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove this and test fit with the wheel to make sure everything is perfect. All right, so I only put two nuts just to put it in place, tighten them down, and make sure everything is right, just in case I gotta take it back out. So, actual test is gonna be looking at it from the top, comparing it to the other side. You see, we still have just a little bit, but it's quite enough where the wheel should go and tuck in case it takes any bump or hit. I could see right off the bat it should be dropping a little bit further down. If it touches, it's going to be touching over here. So there shouldn't be much rubbing anymore. All right, so I lifted the forward driver side because this is the passenger rear. And I lifted it up. It's going to put the most amount of pressure and compress those springs as much as they can go. Right now, I got good clearance here. So I call it a success. I do have some spacers within the springs that I had placed in previously because of the rubbing issues. So right now I could actually go ahead and remove one or even maybe both of them, and that'll drop the height a little bit more. But I'm pretty happy with how it came out. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the other two nuts and torque them to the spec. That should be it. All right, so I'm going to show you some cons on the other side. This was already here. This is not an issue because of that. This was already there. But as you may see over here, paint did flake out. And over here, you might see a little bit of a dent here. Now, this was based on how it was previously prior to actually doing the fender rolling with the tool and the fender pulling, because it was already cracked from the inside. So basically just got a little bit more pronounced here. That'll need a little bit of body work, and obviously the paint chipping will need some paint. So these are some risks you are taking when doing this, but at the end it's all up to you if you're willing to take that risk or not for a nice fitment. So this is how I did it. I just wanted to show you guys that you can do it to a fender that is not curved, completely curved. So that's why I went ahead and made this video. You got to do it by portions in small sections until you take it to where you want it to be. So I hope you liked it. Please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.